Alright, so if you remember January of last year, I took that month to review movies I'd seen that were getting sequels in 2018. Like I did Wreck-It Ralph and Pacific Rim and The Incredibles, so I figured might as well do the same thing this year. Starting with... The Lego Movie. So The Lego Movie is an animated film brought to us by Warner Brothers, came out almost 4 years ago, and as you would expect from a movie called The Lego Movie, it takes place in a Lego world. And it is really cool to see, you know, it is animated and it is actually CG, but it looks actually very photorealistic. Like a lot of it you would swear is actually stop motion animation, like shot in real life. But it's not, it's made with computers. That's just really impressive, and of course it's a Lego world, like we all love seeing that. If you've ever been to like Legoland or, you know, any museum where they have these big Lego creations, they're always cool to see, because everyone loves Legos, you know? Legos are such a huge thing in the world. I mean, I dare you to look me in the eye and say that you have never owned a Lego set. For me, in my childhood, it was Bionicle. Lego's franchise Bionicle, that was like my childhood all the way through middle school. I was like obsessed. I still got a bunch of them. I mean, tell me these don't look awesome. There actually is like one tiny reference to Bionicle in this film. It's like a still frame, like if you blink you miss it, but I saw it and I was like, hey, there it is. But anyways, let's talk about this movie. So in the Lego Movie, in this Lego world, we have Emmett. He's voiced by Chris Pratt. He's a regular ordinary construction worker guy. He's like no one special. But suddenly he gets wrapped up in this adventure where he has to save the Lego universe and then let the really fast-paced comedic adventure begin. But I mean, you gravitate towards Emmett because he's a likable guy, you know? And it's funny, I was watching this movie the other day. He screams like a lot. Like there must have been at least like 1 or 2 days where Chris Pratt, all he had to do in the recording booth was just scream. And he runs into Wild Style, voiced by Elizabeth Banks, who's pretty much the one who kicks all the butt in this movie. You know, since he's the mumbling, stumbling one, she's the one who has to take care of all the business. And then you have their banter back and forth, you know, basic animated movie trope. They're being led by Vitruvius, voiced by Morgan Freeman, who's actually like really funny in this movie. He probably got the most laughs from me if I'm being completely honest. Because I'm sure Morgan Freeman had a blast in the recording booth. Because he just got to have fun playing a fun character. Like think about it, all Morgan Freeman does these days is play serious characters. In the Lego Movie, he just got to have fun. And you hear it in his voice. And then you have Batman, which of course you have Batman. It's a Warner Brothers movie and it's Legos. There's gonna be Batman. Because what, there are already like 3 Lego Batman games? So it's really just inevitable. And he's voiced by Will Arnett. You know, he got his own spin-off movie a few years later, the Lego Batman movie. But the bad guy in this movie is Lord Business, voiced by Will Ferrell. And he's also really funny. Like right when he walks onto the scene, you can hear like, oh, that is Will Ferrell's voice. And it's great. He wants to use this weapon called the Craggle, it's crazy glue, to glue this entire town together so that nothing can move and no one can be creative. So you can't build with Legos anymore. Everything's just gonna stay exactly as it is. And so Wild Style and Vitruvius are like, no, that means that no one's gonna have the freedom to build anymore. So they need someone special to save the day, and that's where Emmett gets wrapped into the adventure. And here we go. And yeah, this movie is like really good. The biggest thing about this movie, aside from the animation, is that above all else, it's a comedy. The humor in this movie is very, very, very fast-paced, like more fast-paced than any other animated comedy I've ever seen. Like in a way, some of it was like deadpan humor, where like it apologized for none of it, it just went on its way. It's irreverent, that's the word I'm looking for. It was irreverent humor. Like it's not what you're expecting. It's like not the kind of humor you're used to in feature-length animated films for families, but it totally worked because it's Legos. You can do literally anything with Legos. This movie really proves that. I mean, if I'm being honest, not all the humor landed for me the first time around. Like a lot of Batman's humor, I was like, alright, this is kind of like a spoof parody on Batman. I get it. But then like Morgan Freeman would say something funny and I'd be laughing again within like 5 seconds. Because again, it's very fast. And really that's all there is to the movie. There is the ending, which is like really good, really solid. I don't want to spoil it, but it's like the ending all just comes together. The adventure aspect, the heart aspect, and it's like, oh yeah, here's why Legos exist and why they're good. Which, I mean, to me, it is subjective why Legos are good for people. Like, I'll admit, I've gotten a couple Lego sets really recently, like within the past couple years, and I've had a blast, like following the instructions and building it, and now I have this big Imperial ship from Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I had an absolute blast building this thing. But then, you know, there was a time where all Lego was you could build whatever you want with all these blocks. I mean, you still can. If you got a Lego set, nothing says you have to follow the instructions. You can get a Lego set for any Star Wars thing and build whatever you want with all the pieces. That's why it's subjective to me. Lego is good whether you want to follow the instructions or not. You're being creative either way. And I think this movie celebrates that in like the best way possible, while also giving you a good adventure with lovable characters. That's a win. So yeah, in the end, the Lego movie is completely great. The voice acting is really good. The animation is beautiful. Most of the humor is really funny, like laugh out loud funny. And the ending just puts a bow on it all. So go check out the Lego movie if you haven't seen it yet before its sequel comes out next month. So the Lego movie, have you seen it yet? What did you think about it? And what is your experience with Legos? Whatever it is, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.